5,000 clients in the different programs that we have. We run a number of programs. So the program that it's close to my heart is the Community Economic Development Program. And that includes the Career Mentorship Program. We also have a Federal Public Service Mentorship Program. Recently, the Ottawa Connector Program, and a pilot on mentoring for advancement of women in finance and banking. And I'll talk a little bit more in detail about those programs. But perhaps one of the most important programs for a newcomer is our community integration or settlement program. So that includes helping newcomers really settle in Ottawa. So providing them with information about the education system here. So how does the school system work? How can people register their kids at school? Telling them about the different school boards that we have here in Ottawa, for example. How to navigate the healthcare system, get a health card, how to rent a home, because you come to a new country, you don't know anything. Oftentimes you don't even speak English or French, so really helping people navigate all those areas and settle here in Ottawa. The other program that we have is multicultural counseling, so offering counseling services for immigrants and refugees who have come to us from war-torn countries or have been tortured or imprisoned or are just here because of religious persecution. So counseling them, and that's also offered in different languages, and whenever we don't have a language, we use interpreters, and they're fully trained about that. The next program that we have is our Multicultural Liaison Officer Program. So that's an award-winning program that is now being run in many, many schools all throughout Ontario. And we were the first organization who started implementing it. And what that does is basically settlement workers going to schools and acting as a liaison between the parents and students on the one hand and the teachers and the school staff on the other hand. Oftentimes it's bridging the cultural differences or even offering interpretation services, for example, during the parent-teacher interview meetings. The other program that we have is free English language training for newcomers. And most recently with the Syrian refugee crisis, we've always offered the sponsorship of refugee program, but now it's more formalized. It's in the shape of a coalition called Refugee 613, and that's a coalition of a number of settlement organizations like OCISO, as well as United Way Ottawa and the Community Foundation of Ottawa. So Refugee 613 acts as a hub basically for the community. If someone wants to volunteer, if someone wants to donate, they can contact Refugee 613 and then be directed that way. So the program that I'm going to focus about tonight is the mentorship program, and Barb is familiar with that. She has been volunteering with us as a career mentor for a number of years, even before I joined OCISO. So we're lucky to have about more than 200 volunteer career mentors, and every year in our program we serve about 200 new clients. Now the program started as a very, very small program back in 2004, and no funding from anywhere, so we're just able to offer it to a limited number of women. But then in 2007, we were able to get funding from Citizenship and Immigration Canada, and then we were able to expand the program and offer it to both men and women, and more number of clients in the program ever since. We're happy to say that our exit to employment statistics is 63%. So 63% of the clients that come to us get employment in their field or related field after having worked volunteer. The objective of the program is to help newcomers or internationally educated professionals, because the clients that come to us have post-secondary education from outside of Canada. Some of them have 2 or 3 master's degrees. Recently we had a client who had 2 master's degrees and 2 PhDs. Can you imagine how hard it must be to, and it's managing the expectations of someone coming here with 2 PhDs and not being able to find a job, and the frustration that they have to deal with. So the objective is to help them get employment in their field or related field by matching them with a volunteer career mentor who will then help them in their job search. What it offers the mentors is as rewarding as any volunteer experience, because they get to help someone and they also get to increase their cross-cultural competency and hopefully learn as much from their mentee as the mentees learning from them, and also enhance their leadership and coaching skills. The barriers to employment for newcomers, mostly, some of them are systemic barriers. Unfortunately, our mentors can't help with those, like if someone doesn't speak English well in Ottawa, if they're not bilingual, chances of them finding a job is a lot lower. Oftentimes their credentials are not recognized here, especially doctors or regulated professionals like engineers, anything healthcare related. Also, the other thing is lack of Canadian work experience. So even if they're highly educated, even if they have numbers of years of experience in their countries, they still face this barrier of lack of Canadian experience. But what the mentor can help them with is lack of professional networks. So they've come to Canada, they've left all their network and support system behind. They may know a few people in their community coming from the same country, but they don't have a professional network. And that's how you find jobs. It's not by sending a million resumes, it's who you know, really. So that's one of the roles of our mentors. It's not sharing their professional network necessarily with them, although some do, but it's helping them, showing them the way how to build those networks. The other thing that mentors really help with is help them understand the Canadian workplace culture. Some of the mentees that come to us don't even have a resume. They come from countries where you don't need a resume to find a job. So they come here, the whole job search process is totally new to them. So the mentor helps them with that, whether it be the resume, cover letter, practicing interview skills, what you should and shouldn't do at an interview or on your job. Those are all what mentors help with. But perhaps most importantly, what a mentor helps with is encouraging and motivating. Because imagine you've been sending resumes for months and you're in a new country not knowing anyone, and you wonder after 5-6 months, oh, what's wrong with me? Maybe I'm the problem. So it's the mentor's role really to encourage the mentee and increase their self-esteem. Now, in terms of process, how a mentor comes to us, usually there is an orientation session that all mentors attend, so that explains how the program will work, what are the expectations, what the mentees cannot expect from their mentors. And there's also optional training for the mentors, both on cross-cultural communication and on employment research. And after the orientation, the mentors and mentees are matched. We try to match as closely as possible, so engineers with engineers, accountants with accountants, and then they meet for an hour a week for a minimum of 3 months, and usually the matches go even up to a year, and oftentimes we see that even once the match is exited, they're still in touch, they become friends, and it's out of our control what they do after that, but sometimes friendships happen. Now, For the mentees, the way they participate in the program, they meet with our mentorship facilitators for 1 hour of intake. So really going over their background, their skills, their experience, and seeing where they want to go now with their career here. They may have had a career, for example, as a doctor. Well, they can't be a doctor here because it takes a number of years of recertification. So what is it that they can do now? Transferring those skills, identifying new career goals, and then they're ready to be matched with a mentor. So they also attend an orientation session just like the mentors. They complete a self-assessment and action plan so that those documents will help the mentor and guide how to help the mentee. And then they are introduced to their mentor and the mentoring phase begins. And after a few months, they're eligible to participate in our Ottawa Connector program. So the Ottawa Connector program, basically what it is informational meetings. So we have a database of connectors, the people who we call connectors, who are ready to meet with the connectees for informational meetings, and those are just one-time, half-an-hour meetings for the connectee to learn about the industry, the trends, what companies are hiring, what's going on in the labor market in that particular industry. And then at the end of that meeting, if the connector feels comfortable, they will refer them to 3 other connections. So that way, the connectee is building their professional network by meeting with these people. I just want to share my personal story, and I know that Barb referred to it, but I came to Canada in 2007, and I was lucky enough to find OCISO. I had actually Googled OCISO even before I arrived in Ottawa, and I had contacted them from Iran saying, well, I want to attend your job search workshop. And they said, well, where are you now? I'm in Iran. Well, you need to wait till you arrive. And so, okay. So once I arrived, 3 weeks later, I was in their job search workshop, and then I was referred to the mentorship program. And my background in Iran was, I have a master's in library information science, but I worked in a library for 9 months, and I decided, no, this is not for me. So I went to the nonprofit, and I found it so rewarding that I stayed with the nonprofit sector back in Iran. And so when I came here, I wanted to work for the nonprofit again. That's what's close to my heart. So I went to OCISO, and they matched me with a wonderful mentor who at the time worked at United Way, Ottawa. And every week we would meet, and she would help me with my resume, with my cover letter. We did mock interviews, really helped with reducing the stress. And she even wrote recommendation letters. I remember when I was applying for a job at the Red Cross, she knew a couple of people. She had worked at the Red Cross before, introduced me to them, and as well as another job at United Way. She worked there at the time. And one day I got 2 job offers within an hour. Canadian Red Cross and United Way, Ottawa. And I chose United Way, Ottawa just because Jackie worked there, and I felt, well, I know someone there. And we've kept in touch. We're friends. It's been since 2007, and I feel just blessed and lucky. And every day in this job is so rewarding. I was telling Barb last month in October, we had 20 exit to employments. 20 of our clients last month found jobs in their fields. So we're very rewarding, a wonderful program, and I hope you'll spread the word. Thank you so much for your time.